Welcome to my educational series where you can improve your English proficiency and prepare for exams like TOEFL and IELTS. In this episode, we'll focus on an academic topic. You will hear a talk followed by several questions. I recommend that you take some notes while listening because it will help you at the end of the conversation to answer all of the questions in the quiz correctly. So let's listen to it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. You know how it is, right? Information overload everywhere you look. It's tough to really get a grasp on anything, but that's where we come in.
Yeah, we do the digging for you, get down to the core of things.
Exactly. And today we're going all the way back, exploring the evolution of technology. We've got a ton of fascinating information about how all these key inventions came about, from the simplest tools to the crazy complex gadgets we can't live without these days.
It's amazing to see the journey, from those early innovations to the technology that shapes our world today.
Totally. And we're not just making a list of cool gadgets. We're going to uncover those surprising connections between inventions, see how they built upon each other.
It's like a puzzle, figuring out how all the pieces fit together to create the technological landscape we have now.
It really is. So let's start with something super basic, but totally revolutionary, the wheel.
Oh, the wheel. Talk about a game changer.
Our sources point out it was invented in Mesopotamia, way before anyone understood the physics behind it. They were using wheels for ages, just figuring it out as they went.
It just worked, so they rolled with it, literally.
Haha, yeah. It makes you wonder about all those other potential inventions out there, just waiting for someone to stumble upon them. But okay, Mesopotamia wasn't just about wheels. They also gave us writing cuneiform, those wedge-shaped marks on clay tablets.
Early spreadsheets, basically. Think about it. They needed ways to keep track of their stuff, their accounts.
So from moving things around, they moved on to managing information about those things. Fascinating.
And don't forget the seals. They used early authentication to mark personal property.
Right, like a signature stamp for your belongings. So smart.
It all points to this human desire to organize, to control, to make sense of the world around us.
Absolutely. Okay, let's fast forward a bit. China and the invention of paper. It seems so basic now, but imagine taking rags, plant fibers, and transforming them into something you can write on.
The ingenuity is mind-blowing. It was a game changer for communication, for spreading knowledge.
Definitely. Before that, you're talking expensive parchment, limited access to writing materials. Paper made information more widely available.
Exactly. It democratized knowledge, setting the stage for even bigger changes down the line.
And speaking of big changes, let's talk gunpowder, another Chinese invention. But here's the thing. Our sources highlight that it wasn't initially used for, blowing stuff up in battles.
No, they were more into the psychological warfare aspect. Fireworks to create a spectacle, loud bangs to scare off enemies.
It's almost like they stumbled onto this powerful thing but weren't quite sure what to do with it at first.
It speaks to how technology can evolve, how the initial purpose isn't always the ultimate application.
Totally. Now let's talk about seeing things more clearly. The Chinese were already playing with lenses way back in the 11th century. They figured out that curved glass could bend light.
The basic principle behind eyeglasses. But here's the kicker. It took almost 300 years for eyeglasses to actually show up.
300 years? That's crazy. You'd think something that helps people see better would catch on faster.
You'd think so, right? It shows that sometimes, even when you have the knowledge, other factors can slow down adoption. Maybe technical limitations with lens grinding, or just a lack of awareness about the potential benefits.
It's a good reminder that progress isn't always linear. Okay, so then we get to Gutenberg and his printing press with movable type, a real turning point.
Oh yeah, this is where things really take off. Suddenly, you can produce books on a scale never seen before.
Individual metal letters that you could arrange and rearrange, printing page after page. Imagine the impact. Literacy rates must have gone way up.
It was a revolution in information sharing. Think about the Reformation, the spread of new ideas, challenging the status quo. The printing press played a huge role in that.
Absolutely. And it's all connected, right? You need paper to print on, and now you have a way to produce more books, more information, faster and cheaper than ever before.
It's a cascade of innovation, each invention building on the last.
Okay, so from printing words to seeing distant objects more clearly. The refracting telescope. Lenses focusing light from afar. Suddenly, we could look deeper into space, explore the cosmos.
But it wasn't just for stargazing. The telescope also had huge implications for navigation at sea. even military applications.
Wow, I hadn't thought about that. So it was a tool for exploration on multiple levels.
Absolutely. It expanded our horizons, both literally and figuratively.
And then we come to photography capturing light itself, Daguerre's daguerreotype. A silver-coated copper plate capturing an image. Imagine seeing that for the first time.
It must have felt magical, freezing a moment in time. And it was a big shift from relying on artistic skill to create images.
Right. This was a more scientific chemical process, a step toward the instant photography we take for granted today.
It was the beginning of a whole new way of seeing and documenting the world.
So cool. Now, let's get things moving on a larger scale. We're talking James Watt and his rotary steam engine.
Ah, the steam engine, the powerhouse of the Industrial Revolution.
This was a huge deal, converting steam into power for factories, mines. Suddenly, you didn't have to rely on water wheels or horsepower.
It freed up industry, allowed factories to be built anywhere. It led to mass urbanization, changed the way people lived and worked.
A true turning point in human history. And then, of course, they put that steam power on wheels. The railroad locomotive.
High-pressure steam chugging along the rails. It must have been an incredible sight and a huge leap forward for transportation.
Connecting communities, shrinking distances, making trade and travel more efficient. It's amazing to think about how that transformed the world.
It really did.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to that initial breakthrough with harnessing steam power.
Absolutely. Okay, now this next bit is a bit more abstract, but crucial to so much of modern technology. We're talking about Michael Faraday and his discoveries around electricity and motion.
This is where we get into the fundamentals of how so many things work.
So first, he invented the electric motor. Electricity creating movement.
Exactly. And then he figured out the reverse, the electric generator. Movement creating electricity.
This back and forth, this conversion of energy is just brilliant.
Think about all the things that rely on that principle. Power plants, electric vehicles, even your blender. It's everywhere.
It's mind-blowing. And speaking of things we use all the time, the telephone. Alexander Graham Bell figuring out how to transmit voices over wires.
Converting those sound vibrations into electrical signals and back again. Suddenly, you could have a conversation with someone miles away.
It's hard to imagine life without instant communication now. We take it for granted. But back then, this was revolutionary.
It paved the way for everything from landlines to smartphones. It all started with that basic principle of converting sound to electricity.
And then we finally have electric light. Joseph Swan and Thomas Edison both independently coming up with the incandescent light bulb.
No more candles, no more relying on daylight. Electric light changed everything.
People could work longer hours, stay up later, feel safer at night. Cities were transformed.
It's another one of those inventions that we hardly think about because it's so ubiquitous now.
Yeah.
But it was a game changer for sure.
Totally. Okay, shifting gears to personal transportation. The first gasoline engine automobile.
Picture it: 3 wheels, a U-shaped steel frame, and a sputtering engine.
Not the sleek machines we have today, but it was the start of a revolution in personal mobility.
The freedom to go where you want, when you want. It led to the development of suburbs, the rise of car culture.
And all the industries that grew up around it. Oil and gas, road construction, auto manufacturing, a huge impact.
It changed our landscapes, our lifestyles, everything.
So then we have moving pictures, the Lumiere brothers' invention, combining a camera and a projector, the birth of cinema.
Suddenly you could share stories, experiences with a large audience visually.
A whole new form of entertainment, of art. Imagine seeing those first moving pictures, the flicker of light on the screen.
It must have been mesmerizing. And it quickly became a powerful medium for shaping culture, influencing society.
And then defying gravity, the Wright brothers and their first successful powered flight.
12 seconds in the air. It seems so short, but it proved that heavier-than-air flight was possible.
Imagine the courage it took to get into that contraption and launch yourself into the unknown.
It was a testament to human ingenuity, to pushing the boundaries of what's possible. And it opened up a whole new era of travel and exploration.
From those 12 seconds to supersonic jets, space travel, incredible.
It's mind-boggling how far we've come.
Okay, now let's delve into some of the more foundational technologies that make modern electronics possible, starting with the triode valve.
Ah, the triode valve. Initially designed to control electric current, it ended up being the workhorse for amplifying radio and TV signals.
It even acted as the switches in early computers. It was a key building block for the electronic age.
Think of it like a gate that can control the flow of electrons. A small signal could open or close the gate, or even amplify the flow.
So you have the first public radio broadcasts in 1906, and then by the mid-1920s, radio sets were common in homes.
A new way to connect, to share information and entertainment. Families gathering around the radio, it was a unifying experience.
And radio paved the way for television. John Logie Baird's early transmissions used spinning discs to create moving images.
It's fascinating to think about those early mechanical attempts at television. But it quickly became obsolete with the invention of the electronic cathode ray tube.
Right, the CRT using electron beams to create images on a screen. It's amazing how quickly technology can evolve.
It's a constant race to improve, to innovate.
Okay, and now we get to the transistor, a real game changer. Doing the same job as the bulky, power-hungry triode valve, but way smaller, more reliable, and using less energy.
The transistor was a miniaturization revolution. It allowed us to make electronics smaller, more portable, more efficient.
It was the foundation for everything that came after. Personal computers, smartphones, all those gadgets we rely on.
It's hard to overstate the impact of the transistor on modern technology. It was truly transformative.
And then the ultimate in miniaturization, the microchip. Thousands of millions of transistors all packed onto a tiny sliver of silicon. Incredible.
The microchip allowed us to put incredible computing power into smaller and smaller devices. It fueled the digital revolution.
Think about Moore's Law, the prediction that the number of transistors on a microchip would double every couple of years. It's been driving exponential growth in computing power ever since.
It's mind-boggling to think about how much computing power we have at our fingertips today, all thanks to the microchip.
And from physical wires to wireless communication cell phones, no more being tethered to a landline.
Using radio waves to transmit calls through a network of local towers. The freedom to communicate from anywhere was a game changer.
It's hard to imagine life without cell phones now. They've become so much more than just phones. They're mini computers in our pockets.
They've changed the way we interact, the way we work, the way we consume information. It's a whole new world.
Then we have the compact disc, storing sound digitally as tiny pits on a disc that are read by a laser, a big leap from analog storage.
The CDs offered better sound quality, were more durable, and easier to handle than vinyl records. It was a major shift in how we listen to music.
And it paved the way for digital music downloads, streaming services, the way we consume music today.
It's all connected.
And that brings us to the convergence of so many technologies in one device, the iPhone, a perfect example of how far we've come.
It's a music player, a camera, a video player, a web browser, and so much more, all in one sleek little device.
It's like all those earlier inventions, all those innovations came together in this one gadget.
And it spawned a whole new industry app development. Suddenly, anyone could create software to extend the phone's functionality in countless ways.
It's amazing. Okay, now this is something completely different, 3D printing. Instead of ink on paper, we're talking about building three-dimensional objects layer by layer.
Melted plastic, metal, even chocolate and concrete. It's a whole new way to create and manufacture things.
It's like something out of science fiction. Imagine printing custom-designed products, prosthetics, even houses.
The possibilities are endless. And it has the potential to revolutionize industries, from medicine to construction to manufacturing.
It's truly incredible. And we can't forget about connecting the entire globe, the first communications satellite, Telstar.
Bouncing signals off a satellite orbiting the Earth to transmit live television broadcasts and phone calls. Global communication was born.
Think about the impact on news, on entertainment, on global understanding. It shrank the world in an instant.
It was a pivotal moment in human history, connecting people across continents in real time.
Amazing. And finally, bringing computing to the masses, the Apple II.
The first truly successful desktop computer that was user-friendly and affordable.
It came with a keyboard plugged right into your TV. Suddenly, computers weren't just for specialists anymore.
It sparked the personal computer revolution, laying the groundwork for the digital world we live in today.
It's incredible to look back at this journey from something as simple as the wheel to the incredibly complex iPhone and 3D printers.
It really highlights how each innovation, in its own way, built upon the knowledge and needs of the time, often leading to completely unexpected applications.
Like gunpowder, starting out as a way to make loud noises, who knew? It just goes to show that you never know where innovation will lead.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that innovation isn't always a straightforward path. There are often periods of slow progress, unexpected breakthroughs, and even technologies that seem promising, but ultimately fade away.
But the one constant is the human drive to create, to solve problems, to make life better, easier, more interesting.
That's what fuels this incredible journey of technological evolution.
So as you go about your day, think about which of these innovations you find most impactful, or maybe the one that surprised you the most.
And consider this. How might this increasing convergence of technologies shape the future? What new possibilities might emerge from the merging of different fields? What unexpected innovations are just around the corner? It's an exciting time to be alive.
It really is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the evolution of technology. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have learned something new and useful, and see you in the next episode. Bye.